Hello everyone, my name is Indy and welcome to a Go Game Cast. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to start this out because we have a lot of Go streamers up and coming, and some have been streaming for a long time whilst others are just starting. And so this has been a wonderful time for the Go community, and so I thought that, why not create a cast of a Go game? And so the players that we have today is Danielml01, a 2Q player playing as the Black Stones right here. And then we have Leoric, 2Dan, playing as the White Stone. And this is a nice friendly game right now. And so just a huge disclaimer, you guys. I am not a professional Go player. I just love the game itself. I just started learning how to play it, and I'm okay. I'm improving. And that's what this whole stream is about: is to learn together. And if you guys in the comment section have something that I said that was incorrect, please call me out on it and let me know so I can learn with the community. And so what I'm trying to do is improve my own game while reviewing some previous matches made by these awesome players. And so here we have a standard opening. So the four corners right here. Let me get my pen out. Let me see, where is my pen right now? Oh, there we go. Okay. So currently we have the four corners right here. White right now is taking their territory. So in the initial phases of the game, the main idea is to claim your territory. And as you can see right now, Daniel, who is black, is right now initially took the bottom and the top right hand corners right here, but he did play the middle at the center stone R9, where now this whole entire region is essentially outlining to be around his type of territory. Now, right now we have a little bit of a wobble right here, a little jiggle jaggle, where Daniel is kind of like just testing the waters out on the left hand side. He's trying to build some more territory right here, and in doing so, you want to create some more strengths. You want to be able to create different chains of stones. The more stones you have, the stronger they become. And when in doubt, either connect your stones or start expanding. And so what we see right here is Leoric, the 2Dan player, trying to test the waters here, trying to push that boundary towards the right-hand side to squeeze Daniel's extent of territory. And as you can see, Daniel is responding by playing on the P17 route. On the P17 route. And so what we have right here is Daniel is now trying to create a strong defensive barrier right here. He might just even place stones at A18 and not A18, A19, at P18 and P19 in the near future. But so far right now, we don't have that yet. But what we can see is White's influence now starting to expand throughout the board. Right now we see the White's influence is pretty much this border right here. Leoric playing at the F3 position right here is somewhat trying to extend his territory right here. So right now they're kind of being very passive right now. They're being friendly to each other. They don't want to engage in a fight just yet. Right now we're just setting up the board, the positioning, so that each player can start, poking around at the other opponent. And you can see right here now, Leoric is starting to, really get annoyed with Daniel, trying to extend his territory right here. And now he's going to try to agitate Daniel, try to bait him into responding to him. But Daniel's like, no, we're not going to respond. What we're going to do is start to strengthen our bottom border right here even more. And Leoric was like, heck no, we are not going to let you do that. We are going to take control of this game. And now Daniel has to respond, because if Leoric is able to connect the stones right here in these positions, what we're going to see is Daniel's center stones get cut off from the right side of the board. And so now Leoric threatening Daniel by catching this stone right here is now pincering out, is putting his white stones in between the black so that black cannot connect anymore. And Daniel has to respond to that. Otherwise, his black stone right here is going to be taken. And so the Atari was indeed powerful. And now Daniel's responding as he sees the threat coming into him right now. He's trying to defend this little region right here, but I don't know how long. Now he's threatening Leoric with an Atari, with a capture right here. And Leoric responds in kind with his own Atari, threatening this black stone. Now what is Daniel going to do? Daniel's most likely going to take, and indeed he does. So Daniel is now taking the stone. He's trying to strengthen this little corner right here, but remember, this little corner is just one piece of the puzzle. In order to win a game, you have to get the most territories while capturing the most pieces. And so the name of the game is the last player with the most territories wins. And unfortunately for Daniel, Leoric is playing white, so he does have that 6.5 additional points at the end of the match. And so Daniel, having the advantage of the first move, is going to need to come up with a strategy to defeat this opponent who is of a higher level. And so what's happening right here is Daniel is now trying to strengthen his border right here. He's trying to gain influence by going towards the center and cutting off Leoric's white pieces right here. So most likely Daniel may try to have some sort of influence in this bottom corner right here, but we don't know for sure. Right now, Leoric knows that he's going to get boxed in if he doesn't respond, and so he is trying to encompass this whole black group right here, because if he can capture that black group, he can then survive in this bottom corner and claim this territory as his own. And so knowing that Leoric is getting enclosed by Daniel's pieces right here, what's happening is that he is trying to essentially extend outwards. He's trying to find a way to kind of have an escape route so that all of these pieces don't get boxed in. Because if Daniel is able to box him in right here, he's indeed in big trouble. And so he's trying to poke around. He's trying to poke around right here, but Daniel is like, no, 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 no. We are going to strengthen this wall right here. This is my territory. Leoric, you are not going to come into this match and try to invade here. And so Leoric then responds in kind. And so with that, Daniel is now trying to poke around and trying to sabotage this connective line right here that Leoric is trying to make. But Leoric responds in kind with another Atari right here, threatening this black stone. Let's see if I can change the colors, actually. I kind of like the colors. So let's see. Will red work? Yeah, red is a little bit. No, you know what? Yeah, red. Yeah, bright blue. Let's do bright blue, maybe. Maybe bright blue. Yeah, let's do that. And so right now, what we're seeing right here is that Daniel is trying to capture these. Not Daniel. Sorry, Leoric is trying to capture these two pieces because Daniel is having a significant territory extension right here, trying to pretty much move his territory left and right. And you know what? I actually like the white better. The white is actually a lot easier to see. So we are going to do that, and we're going to actually increase our pen size so we can actually see our pen. Anyways, with that being said, I'm sorry for guys. This is my first time casting, and so I will get much better with the casting later on, hopefully. But what we're seeing right now is Leoric understands that Daniel is going to try to build this barricade. So in order to prevent him from doing that, he's going to have an extending stone right here for an escape passage. Because if Daniel starts surrounding, Leoric can always come in and start extending in this region right here, giving his white group right here an escape into the center of the board. Okay, now Daniel is trying to do his best and capture this white piece on K3, but Leoric is like, all right, you know what? If you want to capture that one single white piece, go right on ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start boxing you in and preventing you from taking my piece. And so we'll see what Daniel is going to respond. He responds in taking that single stone, but Leoric says, no, we are not going to let you do that. Now we are going to start surrounding this whole area. You can take that single stone, but in return, I'm going to gather 8 more stones. Okay. And Daniel's like, oh, shoot, man. If that's going to happen, I need to find an escape route. So he's trying to extend out. But Leoric was like, no, let's not do that. We're going to capture as many stones as we can. And because this stone right here is actually somewhat of a powerful stone. Because if Daniel is able to extend out, he threatens this stone right here with an Atari. So Leoric knows that. So he, in turn, threatens this stone right here. And now Daniel is like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Well, we are going to capture this stone right here to prevent ourselves from being captured all the way. Leoric knows this, so he is not going to respond in kind. I mean, he's just going to be like, you know what? If you want to capture this one stone, be my guest. I'm going to extend even more, claiming some more influence towards the center of this map, because right now the center is anyone's game. What you can see right here is Black does have a significant influence. He has the left, he has the right side, and potentially this bottom right hand corner. Now Daniel is trying to take this bottom left hand corner, and Leoric sees this. So now Leoric is going to try to stop as best as he can, but right now he has to stop Black from extending upwards so that he, you know, reunites with this group right here. We don't want that. Okay. And so Daniel responds with a connecting piece because that was a threatened Atari move. And so now Leoric is just going to keep extending up. And so this is somewhat of a very passive game. No, both players don't want to engage heavily into a fight just yet. They're still kind of prodding around each other, trying to see where they can peep around and where they can poke and see if there's a weakness in the chain, essentially. And so right here, what essentially was originally Leoric's bottom corner now became Dan's, as he's strengthening his wall right here to prevent Leoric from gathering this bottom left-hand corner. Okay. Now Leoric sees this, and he sees that these black stones might form a wall, so now he's got to cut them off right there. And so he's going to try to cut them off right there. And Daniel is going to try to extend this over here to survive with these stones right here, trying to extend his influence. But right now, these two stones are essentially goners because Daniel has nowhere else to move. He can put at least a stone up here, but if Leoric places his white stone right here, this 3 gets captured. Now Daniel understands this and now decides to capture Leoric's single white piece that he has left right there. And then Leoric was like, you know what? Take that one stone. We are going to keep strengthening this side, because what's eventually going to happen is you can see Leoric is starting to build a sphere of influence. He might start playing a stone here or here in one of these areas to build a territory of this range right here. And you can see Leoric has that idea, and he's going to start trying to extend his influence towards the center of the map. Right now, the edge of the map is taken by mostly Daniel. And so Leoric is like, you know what? I got to find a way to get some more points. I'm now captured. Daniel has captured 3 of my points. Let's see what I can do thus far. And so now Leoric is poking and prodding, but while he's poking and prodding and Daniel's responding to that, he is also placing pieces down in the center of the board so that he can later use them at when he starts to extend outwards. Okay. It wouldn't be surprising if Leoric starts playing around this region right here, okay, after this skirmish ends. And so now Daniel threatens this piece right here with an Atari, and Leoric most likely will respond by connecting. Yes, and he does. He does connect. And so right here, this is a nice shape right here by Daniel, but it is fairly weak. And yes, he does defend the Atari threats right here. If Leoric was to place a white stone right here, he would threaten this stone with an Atari. So to prevent that, Daniel needs to pretty much have a segmented triangular shape right there to defend those pieces. Okay, and now we're starting to see Leoric's shape right here. As I said before, he's most likely going to start, building a sphere of influence right here claiming his territory, locking out this black stone with the rest. And Daniel might see this as a potential threat. He might extend it and he might not, but most likely he won't, because if anything, this region right here is a lost cause. And we see that Daniel plays right here, preventing this white stone from extending upwards any further. Okay, and so right here, as you can see, Leoric is now building his influence. He's starting to surround right here, and he's starting to cut everything off. Daniel sees this. He's going to try to prevent Leoric from building that sphere of influence, that line of soldiers, that huge wall. He's going to try to break through, but Leoric was like, no, we're not going to let you break through. We're going to stay right where we are. You're not going to get through this at all. We're going to keep going. And so Daniel is like, okay, fine, I give up. I'm going to start extending to hopefully extend this area out and potentially encompass this area. As we can see, Daniel already has a nice wall building right here, and he could actually build a little bit more right here to capture these stones right here. But these stones will be hard to capture, especially if Leoric connects them with his previous stone here. Okay. So anyways, guys, as we are continuing on with this game, please in the comment section below, if you guys can, let me know how I'm doing. Again, I just a huge disclaimer one more time, I am by no means a professional player. This is just me trying to understand the game of Go by studying better players than myself, and hopefully while doing that, give you guys something entertaining and something hopefully of value while you guys are watching this. And so we're going to try to make Go entertaining. We got to make Go fun, entertaining, and get more players in. That's what we're doing here. And so what's happening right now is Daniel is now trying to break out, but Leoric was like, no, sir, we're not going to let you break out. However, you can try to extend as much as you want, and the more you extend, the more I'm going to place stones right here, building my strength. I'm going to build my wall, and that is the downside of not having the influence of command, or the command of influence, or as we call it, I believe the terminology is sente. If you don't have sente in the game, you are at mercy of the opposing player, which can be a good thing in some cases, but most of the time you're losing momentum. You want to keep that momentum going. You want to keep that pressure on, and the moment that you lose that pressure, the other opponent has now the essentially the ability to change the tides of the game. So right now, however, Daniel seems to be doing fairly well. He's actually doing really well. He has 2 eyes right here, so this group can never die. Okay, potentially this might be a false eye, because these 2 stones can get surrounded. If Leoric places the stone right here, Daniel will have to find another way to create another eye. And so these stones are still at threat, because again, in order to capture a piece, you gotta surround all stones so that there's no open liberties connected to them, or no open lifelines. And so Daniel sees this. Daniel knows that, hey, these stones are not alive just yet. We had to still create one more eye, and if we can create that one eye, we are really in good shape, because now we have a solidified wall that can never ever be broken. Okay, and so Leoric is desperately trying to capture Daniel's pieces right here, and Daniel is responding in kind. He knows that this attack is coming. He knows that things can happen. So Daniel is now doing forcing moves. Right now, he's placing his stone on F5, forcing Leoric to give up a little bit of that momentum, even though he does have an Atari present right here. But Daniel is like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to probably place a stone right here to threaten you with another Atari. Exactly, and that's exactly what he does. And so Leoric is most likely going to start connecting this, because if he does lose that influence, this could potentially be another eye for Daniel. And that is something that he does not want, because again, he's trying to capture this whole piece right here. And if he allows Daniel to create that extra eye, oh man, that is a big wall. And essentially, if he doesn't find a way to prevent that wall from happening, Daniel will have a better time trying to capture these pieces down here on the bottom left-hand corner. And so what you can see right now is Daniel having a good, nice solidified wall right here. And so Leoric is like, okay, well, if you're going to take this bottom corner, potentially bottom corner, then you know what? I'm going to extend up here and gather this big of a territory. And so that's in essence why Leoric most likely is trying to extend upwards. He does know, he does read further ahead that Daniel is trying to escape. So has some preparation stones right here to prevent Daniel from escaping. And in doing so, also gaining influence. And Daniel does see this. He's trying to surround these stones right here to open up a cap so that these stones can escape out. Okay. Wow, this is an amazing game so far. And I believe this game does go on for another 100 moves. So we are currently in move 126. We have roughly around 100 more moves to go. So we still got a long ways to go, and we're going to see a nice battle ensuing very soon in this upper right-hand corner right here. Okay. All right. So now what's going to happen is that Daniel understands that these stones are in danger. So what can we do in the meantime? We're going to try to capture these white stones right here. And right now, Leoric is indeed in some trouble because he does not have any eyes available currently for these groups of stones. So this is still vulnerable to being captured. And so right now, Daniel understands that he's trying to put the pressure on. He already has this bottom left-hand corner. He already has a nice strong wall right here. So what he's doing is he's going to pincer in Leoric, squeeze the life out of these groups of stones right here, and potentially get the KO. Okay. And Leoric understands this. He's going to try to prevent any leakage from happening so that Daniel's stones cannot escape from the top or the bottom. Okay. And Daniel sees that an eye can potentially be made right here. So why not just fill the space here? In order to capture this stone, Leoric must cover all of these open spaces right here. And so if he's able to build an eye right here, there's also another eye right here preventing these stones from being taken potentially, guys. Okay. Now, this is still a single eye over here. And right now, Leoric sees this. Daniel's best move is most likely going to be playing right here in the center to prevent, or right here at the edge, to prevent Leoric from building that second eye. But who knows? Who knows? Okay. All right. Now Leoric sees this. He's going to try to capture this little group right here. Extend his sphere of influence, as we call it in the Go world. Well, not really. That's how I call it. And this is how I understand it, guys. Give me a break. Give me a break. Anyways. And so Daniel is going to, this huge fight right here is going to start encompassing right now. And we're going to see in a couple moves what is going to happen with this black group. This black group is very low in liberties right now. If anything, that black group only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liberties. Okay, so this black group is in danger of getting captured, as well as these 4 stones right here. So right now, it looks like Leoric has found a way to pretty much protect himself from the overall capture of his chain right here. All right. So Daniel is coming in. He's going to try to extend into this region right here, and Leoric is like saying, no, we're gonna build a bigger wall. We're gonna go straight up and slice this 2 army in half, because right now you have too much surrounding on all of my stones right now, whereas Daniel has a lot of stones just left in the open right here. Again, this whole entire quadrant so far is his. Okay. And so what's going to happen right now is he's going to try to get us around. Now, these 3 stones right here, however, are in trouble. They are in trouble right now. If Daniel is able to place these 2 stones, which I highly doubt that he will be able to, but if he is able to, he will capture those 3 stones. But most likely, if Daniel tries to prod into this space right here, Leoric is going to respond in kind and just connect the stones, and then that will open up 4 more liberty spots for those stones to survive. And so Daniel's going to try to come in for the kill. He's going to try to surround all these stones right here while covering it to pretty much get as many points as he can. And by doing so, not only are you capturing these pieces right here, but you're also gaining that territory. Okay. Remember, the name of the game is the person at the end with the most territories and the most captured pieces will be the winner. And there are no handicaps in this game. This is a very even game. Again, Danielml01 on OGS is at a rank of 2Q versus Leoric on OGS, who is a rank of 2 Dan. I do know that Danielml01 does play on other servers, and he is of a 2 Dan and 3 Dan status. So he is an extremely strong player. It's just that this account of his on OGS, he doesn't play on too much, which would explain the lower Q score. And so, oh my gosh, this battle right here is going. It's going. And Daniel sees this. He sees this group is trying to extend out, and so he is going to respond kindly and try to capture these pieces in. And unfortunately for Leoric, if he starts laddering out, Daniel's piece is in a premium spot right here to prevent that ladder from completing. And so Daniel's now coming in for the kill. He's threatening this group of stones right here, as well as this group of stones right here. And for Leoric, he's going to have to either fill in the connection point right here or trying to prevent Daniel from doing a complete surround. And indeed, he does do that. He prevents Daniel from doing a complete surround. Because right now, if Daniel does start to come in here, Leoric, all he has to do is place his stone right here, and those 2 stones are captured because there are no more liberties. And so Leoric is going to try to, build his better influence. Right now, this bottom right-hand corner is a lost cause. This middle is still open game, but it does look like Leoric has some of a better influence in this middle portion right here, whereas Daniel only has this bottom side and potentially this top. So if we won, you could say that this might be his territory, but in the end, it's not going to happen. And indeed, this is what happens. Daniel left his stone right here, trying to capture the piece, and Leoric respond by capturing the 2. But in doing so, now Daniel is opening up the avenue for Leoric to pretty much get separated from this strain right here. Okay, and Leoric sees this. If he does capture this piece, then he can never create 2 eyes. So Leoric finds that in order to keep this group alive, he has to play at the M1 position, giving him this eye right here and as well as this eye. But again, this group is still in threat of being captured due to the fact that one of the ends is not connected to the series itself. When you have an open end like this, if Daniel captures this piece, then there is no extra eye right here, and Daniel can come in and then capture this whole bottom corner and essentially take this whole quadrant to himself as territory. Now, Leoric does see this, so now Leoric is going to try to prevent Daniel from capturing these 4 stones, and by doing so, he connected these 4 stones right here with the rest of his stones right here. But unfortunately, these stones are also in trouble of getting captured, as we saw before. If Leoric tries to ladder out, he can, but he's going to either hit the wall right here or he's going to hit this stone over here. So he's at a very big disadvantage. So Leoric must find a way to drag Daniel's attention elsewhere so that he can set up to capture these 3 stones right here, giving him the ability to have safe passage out of here. If Leoric is able to capture these 3 stones right here, he will have this whole entire white group survive. Okay. So Leoric is trying to bait Daniel's attention away. He's trying to move Daniel's attention to this little corner right here while he's placing stones and hoping to set up more stones in this region over here. Okay, and Daniel sees this and he has to respond, because if he doesn't, then Leoric is going to take control and own this whole entire top left-hand quadrant. And for Daniel, again, he doesn't want that to happen. Both opponents are trying to limit the amount of territory the other opponent is gaining right now, and trying to distract the other opponents while placing more stones of influence down in the center. Wow, this is an amazing game right now. This is an amazing game. And we're close to the end game right now, guys. We are still late in the mid game, and we could potentially be in the end game soon. There's very little openings left for Daniel to start expanding around. Remember, if you are on the top third line or on the borders of these areas and you have a strong line of influence, it is incredibly hard for your opponent to break through that. The reason being is because your opponent only has 2 lines essentially to try to do something. And if you are a knowledgeable player and a seasoned player, to capture these areas is going to be extremely hard, because it is very little wiggle room, so to speak. And so if you are a brand new player like myself, at least the way I learned it and the way I've experimented, it's extremely hard to capture the stones that are on lines 3 or columns 3, top and bottom, left and right. Okay, and so hence why you'll generally see a move. If you do a 4-4 opening, you'll generally see the opponent move on a 3-3 route, trying to take this corner right here, because for your opponent to surround yourself and capture these pieces, they have to find a way to go inside this small tiny quadrant, and it's just incredibly hard, and you would have to be an incredibly well-read, well-seasoned player to be able to pull something off like that. At least that is my opinion. Okay, and so what we're seeing right now is Daniel is trying to build his wall right here, trying to prevent Leoric from gaining this center influence. Right now, he's not only is he trying to build the wall right here, he's indirectly building another sandwich position. If he's able to build a strong wall right here, he might be able to squeeze Leoric into this middle region right here and potentially suffocate those troops and go in for the capture. Okay. Now Daniel plays cross cuts this group of stones right here from this, threatens with an Atari, so most likely Leoric is going to respond, and indeed he does. And Daniel's most likely going to extend his stones this way, or potentially down, either one. But in doing so, he does connect one or the other. But now Leoric has the upper hand. He can go for a self-Atari. Now, if Leoric tries to do the Atari, as I was saying before he made that move, if he tries to place a stone right here or right here, that really doesn't do much, because if Daniel follows the path of least resistance, eventually this stone will connect with these stones right here, or potentially these stones on the side. So Leoric, seeing that, knows that we got to stop it, so he placed a stone cross cut right here. I believe that's called a consumi. He's going to play a cross cut so that he has a better opportunity to block any extensions that these 2 stones are going to do. Wow, what a game. What a game. Daniel is still on 3 captures. Leoric now has 4 plus that 6.5 Comey. And so Leoric is up 5.5 points. So Daniel has to find a way to either gain an additional 5 territory, 6 territory, or capture 6 more pieces to pretty much be even with Leoric and have the upper hand advantage. Okay. I think 7 or 8 pieces. Apologies, 7 or 8 pieces. Okay. We are getting close to the end game now, guys. We are very close to the end game. We are now on move. I believe, what move are we on? 205. And so this game is just about to end. But let's see what Daniel does. He still has to fight. He still has to protect this group right here, because if he doesn't, right now he doesn't have an eye. And Leoric is coming in for the surround. And so this group right here is being threatened, and Daniel does see this, and he's going to try his hardest to suffocate one of these 2 groups. But right now, Daniel only has 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties 5 liberties right here. And so he's going to try to capture another group. And so Leoric does see this right now. These 3 stones right here are at risk. And to maintain the control in the center of the board, he cannot lose both of these 3 stones. If he does, the whole center is now Daniel's, as Daniel has enough room to make 2 eyes. 2 solid eyes. And so Leoric sees this. He's going to try to prevent Daniel from connecting these black stones with these black stones right here. So hence why the cuts right there. And so Leoric then decides to connect this single stone right here to prevent Daniel from capturing his piece. Okay. And Daniel sees this. He's going to try to prevent Leoric from creating those eyes. So he's actually self-sacrificing this piece right here, forcing Leoric to capture him. But in doing so, now he has disconnected this group right here. These stones are not connected. If Leoric wants to maintain this liberty open, he cannot capture, because once he captures this little piece right here, or this little space right here, now this whole group is going to be down 1, 2, 3 liberties on this side, as well as 4, 5, and 6 open liberties. There will only be 6 open liberties left. And so Daniel is playing that sneaky game. He's like, okay, go ahead, capture me, see what I care, see how I care. If you capture me, if you start connecting all these pieces together, I am eventually going to capture this whole entire group right here. And that is something that Leoric does not want to happen. And it looks like something happened. We have analysis right here for some reason. Oh, we do see an AI analysis. There are blue and green moves right here, but why is analysis mode on? I do not know. I don't want analysis mode on, please. Anyways, how do I turn off analysis mode? Guys, write in the comments below, how do I turn off analysis mode? I don't know how to work OGS yet. No, we don't want AI review. We don't want AI review. Come on. Come on. Back to game. Thank you. There we go. Back to the game, guys. We're back in the game. Okay. Well, what happened here? Let me see. Okay. Did we just fast forward the game because I didn't know how to use OGS? That is true. I did not know how to use OGS. I do apologize for that, guys. This is my first time streaming. So hopefully in the next game, we will not do a blunder like this. We are on move 227. We see that Daniel's trying to extend out. And so, but unfortunately, because we've already went to the bottom of the match, we're just going to show you guys what happens at the very end. And what we see right here is that white Leoric 2 Dan player on OGS has resigned to Danielml01, a 2Q player on OGS. This was a fantastic game, but Daniel just was able to surround Leoric that much better in doing so, capturing a lot of these pieces right here. So I believe these pieces are going to get captured in terms of the territorial count and the rest of the area. Daniel has this territory right here, this territory right here. Not only, he also has these territories right here, as well as this whole entire right side, with a little bit of this corner bit right here. Versus Leoric only has this bit right here, as well as here, and just a couple pieces in between. And that is unfortunately not enough for that win, even though you have that additional 6.5 Komi. So anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this cast. This is my first time doing it. I'm hoping to get better at casting in general, but if this is entertaining for you guys, please let me know in the comments below. And if you guys can, please check out Danielml01 on Twitch, as well as his Instagram. He is a fantastic player. And as well as Leoric. I'm not sure if Leoric does do any streaming, but please check them out. and please give them a follow on OGS or a friend request on OGS. So thank you to these two players. This was an amazing game, and I actually learned a lot, and so hoping you guys did too. Until next time, keep on playing Go, my friends.